Agenda item number 2, consider approval of a request from Mead Witter Foundation for permission to proceed with repairs to the memorial clock and bell tower.
Okay, I guess.
That's you.
Mead Ritter's requested to do additional repairs of the clock and bell tower, and since it's technically city property, they have to ask permission, and so that's basically what they were doing.
Still not working for me.
I'm not sure exactly what the exact specific repairs are, to tell you the truth, but I haven't heard any issues or reason to deny the request. It's just kind of part of their normal upgrade of that thing. Do you know what the specific repairs that the clock bell tower will entail?
Aren't there like invoices and stuff attached?
I just have to referral. There's just a referral.
I believe the remaining updates were lighting. They're still doing some lighting, or they're hoping to get some
Okay.
lighting stuff done. And they just have some, they come into some other cost increases.
Yeah.
So I think it's just
That was
some
part of the
general.
referral.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here, but
Maybe I missed it on the referral.
No, I don't think it's it.
But it's consistent with what they're.
yeah, the scope hasn't changed. It's kind of they got into it and realized there was some cost increases. There was some more work in terms of the safety harness and that contraption they've got going on there, and then the lighting. I'm pretty sure those were really the components.
So just continue.
Yeah, it isn't. Yeah, they're not doing anything new from what they originally were pursuing. But I think it was just we had approved a threshold or a kind of a limit to the investment, and then this is in excess of that.
Make a motion to approve the request from the Mead Witter Foundation for permission to proceed with repairs to the memorial clock and bell tower.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the repairs by the Mead Witter Foundation. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Did they just approve it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Item number
She's gonna bring this up.
Yeah.
Item 3, consider a request to support a MLB Scottsfield refurbishment program grant.
So the several baseball associations have gotten together and created a Wisconsin Rapids Baseball Softball Users Group Co-op, and one of their missions is to see the improvements from the master plan at Mead Field to fruition. And so they've been trying to talk to local businesses and philanthropic organizations to see about raising some funds to help with that. And they found that Major League Baseball has a grant program to also assist in refurbishing older fields. And so I've attended a few of their meetings. They've been working on putting a package together. The package that I have isn't the final version. It's kind of a final draft. I think there's some edits that needed to be done yet. But the issue is that that organization isn't a nonprofit organization, and a nonprofit organization needs to be the group that accepts the.
But RISA is, and I mean, a few of the organizations that are involved are, so I think, yeah, if one of them could just take the lead. I know the Men's Softball Association, Women's, RISA, Legion, I mean, each one of those is, so I guess I'm wondering if maybe one of them can take the lead on the grant and then use that number.
Okay.
I mean, rather than the city, I guess.
Was that ever discussed by the group?
So what the consensus of the group was that ultimately the donation of the funds would go to the city, for refurbishing that field. And so that's the direction they wanted. If the grant was successful, they just wanted the city to have the funds coming right out of the gate. And so hence the request. They wanted to include the city's federal ID number so that if they were successful in their grant application, the funds would just come directly to the city.
Yeah, but that isn't, I mean, then the city has to be the one applying, and I think it has to be a 501c3, and the city is not a 501c3. So, and I don't know if that might be an issue or not, but, I mean, I guess. I understand that the co-op itself is not a 501c3, but each of those, most of the other organizations each are, so I would think, you know, one of them could just take the lead on it, and then the city could simply agree that improvements could be made to the field, you know, write a letter of support or something for it, and then be involved in, because it's my understanding that this is gonna happen in March of 2018, and I don't even know to what extent we'd be prepared for them to come and do that right away, so there's probably some logistics, but, yeah, I guess I just have some questions on it, but however.
Yeah, I think the stop here was more or less to inform the committee and the council that this opportunity was before this group. The city's not applying for it because we can't, is our understanding.
Well, it just says it has to be 501c3, and we're not a 501c3, so.
Right, and more or less, we get asked for, write letters of support all the time, so I envision that we would write a letter of support on, you know, my letterhead or someone's letterhead, just get it included in their application. But then knowing that there will be discussion that needs to be had regarding acceptance of the funds, and I think our grant policy, this was kind of one of those outside of the city's grant policy, that's why it was it's just a request to support the grant, not for, not really to accept the funds if they were awarded. I mean, that stuff I think still has to, like Sue said, there's still some logistics that need to get worked out, right? I mean, that's my understanding.
So I can inform them, I think they need to submit it tomorrow, so I can inform them if that's the desire of the committee. I can inform them to use one of the, the city isn't probably in a position to receive the funds directly because it's not a 501c3.
Right, and I think it might be more apt to be granted if it was, you know, rather than a municipality, because I think part of it was, you know, giving financials and that, and I think it might be better if it was, you know, Riser or something, a smaller organization might be, you know, look more worthy to receive it than a city, so. Yeah, that's what I would advise, is that just one of them use their number and be the main grantee, and then, you know, if they get the grant, then we need to talk about how, you know, it'd be a great thing, and then just figure out how logistically to. But as a property owner, we could say we, you know, support the pursuit of it, and can do a letter of support as part of the application, probably also.
So would there probably not be a need to take action on the item then?
No, I think that they could to express their support for the pursuit of the funds, and that we could write a letter of support if they wanted it for the grant application.
And for the inclusion of consistency with the approved master plan, right? That the improvements go to fund
Master plan items. Right.
Exactly, yep. And then obviously the organization, applying organization would need to modify the grant to be reflective of their, because the entity isn't an entity yet, right? There's just it's kind of a group that's come together, it's assembled to talk about.
Yeah, they could include that, just modify it so as a member of this group.
Now, right? Yep.
So I guess I'll make a motion to support the grant application? Is that all we really need to do at this point?
Right, because it's our field, so I guess you would say to support the organization's pursuit of funds to improve Mead Field, and that the city would write actual letter of support to go with the application if.
You might add
they
in there
want it.
consistent with the city's
Right.
master plan.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to support the MLB Scottsfield refurbishment program grant for Mead Field, and city staff can write a letter supporting said grant as long as the improvements are consistent with the city's master plan.
Second that.
Motion and second to approve the grant application. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, review and consider for approval the 2018 Mass Transit Operating and Capital Grant Application and corresponding budget request.
Okay, this is, we apply for this grant, as you well know, every year, and this is, usually we end up taking this up in October, but they actually moved the deadline back to December, so that's why we're addressing it in November here, as opposed to years past when it was done in October. But basically, this is our grant application. We're in the last year of our contract with Wheels of Independence. So that means that this summer we'll be doing a formal RFP for mass transit services. So that'll be coming through this committee, because this is the committee that vets those RFPs. But basically, we're looking at 2018 estimated operating expenditures of $893,000, with an offset of expected passenger revenue of $370,000, which leaves, and then obviously state and federal funding, which is the major support for this program. State funding of $223,000 and federal funding of $286,000, which leaves a local operating subsidy of $14,131. Also applying for the purchase of 2 taxi vans in 2018. That is, if that's successful, that's 80% funded by a federal capital grant of $66,434, which would leave a local share of $13,287. We actually have those in reserves because in prior budgets we've budgeted for capital outlay items, and if we're not successful in those, we still have the local share that we keep in that fund, so that in future budgets we can apply those funds. So theoretically, all that's being asked from the 2018 budget from the city is the operating subsidy of $14,131, with the capital match to come out of existing reserves.
Maybe I'll get this right. I'll make a motion to approve the 2018 Mass Transit Operating Capital Grant Application and corresponding budget request of $14,131. And with the capital in reserve of $13,287.
Correct.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the Mass Transit Operating and Capital Grant Application and corresponding budget request. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, final review and approval of the 2018 City of Wisconsin Rapids budget.
Okay, I sent you the revised with it and kind of explained some of the few changes that occurred. Nothing obviously dramatic in there. Pretty much represents the same budget as you received from the executive budget. So I guess at this time I would entertain any additional questions. Obviously the next steps from here is that the Finance Committee to approve it. We will have the public hearing on Tuesday at the council meeting at the beginning of the agenda, where we'll adopt a resolution that will basically set the tax levy, and a resolution that would increase the equivalent to residential units for the stormwater utility by $1. So if there's any questions or final questions or concerns, I will answer those now.
Make a motion to approve the 2018 City of Wisconsin Rapids budget as presented.
I'll second. Motion and a second to approve the 2018 budget. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, audit of the bills.
I'll give you the hard one.
See the bills, if there's any questions on any of the expenditures.
I'll make a motion then to approve check numbers 69655 through 69954 and manual checks 99472 through 99491.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, review and consider for approval beverage operator license applications. I think everyone has reviewed them.
I'll make a motion to approve beverage operator license applications, renewal and new as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second to review the beverage operator license applications. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, set next meeting date.
Okay, based on the second Tuesday that we have been consistent with for the past number of months, that'll be the next standing regular finance committee meeting would be December 12th at 5 o'clock.
I won't be there.
What?
December 12th works for me. Do you want a different date?
Well, when's the council's gonna have to be the 19th? right?
19th, council's on the 19th.
So you either gotta go the 5th or the 12th.
So,
Well, or you can go a different day, I guess.
I think people expect it on a Tuesday. Tuesdays, I think, work best anyway, so.
You guys can have it on the 12th, but I just won't be here.
I missed the 5th, so it's a lot.
I missed the 5th as well.
so just keep it consistent.
Both
with
at
the
5.
Let Greg off the hook.
Yeah.
I'll call you.
We can Skype you in.
Skype me in.
So agenda item number 9, in open session, the committee will vote to go into closed session under section 19.85, parent 1, parent E of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Sub A, in closed session, the committee will discuss a request from Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater Incorporated to lease space in the Centralia Center. I'll make a motion to enter into closed session.
Second? Roll call vote.
Goop.
Motion second to enter into closed session. I vote aye.
Aye.
All vote aye. No nays. We're in closed session.